Colleagues, we now come to the vote. The first vote is on a joint motion for a resolution tabled by 6 political groups on Iran, in particular the poisoning of hundreds of schoolgirls. Amendment 1 by roll call vote. The vote is open. The vote is closed. And it is rejected. We vote the original text by roll call vote. The vote is open. The vote is closed. And it is adopted. We come to amendment number 2 by roll call vote. The vote is open. The vote is closed. And it is rejected. Then we come to amendment 4 by show of hands. Who is in favor? Who is against? Abstentions? Adopted. I now give the floor to honourable colleague Nathalie Loiseau to move an oral amendment to insert a new recital after recital A. Madame Loiseau, you have the floor.
Oui, merci Monsieur le Président. Conformément à la règle 180, je voudrais présenter l'amendement oral suivant, et je vais être obligée de le lire en anglais parce qu'il a été déposé en anglais. Whereas the protests were initiated by women demanding accountability for the death of Mahsa Jina Amini and calling for an end to violence and discrimination against women in Iran, in particular in the form of imposing veiling.
Merci, Madame Loiseau. Is there any opposition to the oral amendment? I don't see any, so we can go to the vote by show of hands. Who is in favor? Who is against? Abstentions? It's adopted. Then we come to amendment number 3 by roll call vote. By roll call vote, yes. The vote is open. Vote is closed. And it is adopted. And then we come to the vote of the resolution as a whole by roll call vote. I open the vote. Vote is closed. And it is adopted. The next vote is again on a joint motion for a resolution tabled by 6 groups on Tunisia, the recent attacks against freedom of expression and association and trade unions, in particular the case of journalist Noureddine Boutar. We start with amendment 1 by roll call vote. I open the vote. Close the vote. And it is adopted. Amendment 2 by roll call vote. I open the vote. I close the vote, and it is adopted. We come to paragraph 5, original text in 2 parts by show of hands. First part, who is in favor, who is against, who abstains, and it is adopted. Second part, who is in favor, who is against, abstentions, and it is adopted. Recital F, original text, who is in favor, who is against, abstentions, adopted. Now we come to the resolution as a whole by roll call vote. The vote is open. The vote is closed, and it is adopted. We come to the third vote, is a joint motion for a resolution tabled by 6 groups on Cambodia, the case of opposition leader Kem Sokha. We vote for the resolution as a whole by roll call vote. The vote is open. The vote is closed, and it is adopted. We come to the next vote, which is a report by Mr. Jerkovic, by Madam, dear honourable colleague, Madam Jerkovic, sorry, and I give the floor to the rapporteur for 2 minutes to speak in favor of the committee decision to enter interinstitutional negotiations. You have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The new digital identity framework is a real game changer. Why? Because it will put citizens in full control of their own data and give them freedom to decide exactly what information to share with whom and when. By using the wallet, they will be able to link their national identities with documents such as driving license and university diplomas and bank accounts, electronic health records, and solve their real problems in life in all European countries. I want to highlight that the using of digital wallet will be strictly voluntary on a voluntary basis. And because we understand the risks, we introduced important safeguards. And going digital is no longer a choice, it's a necessity and a process that cannot be undone. But it's up to us to find the most suitable regulation framework that will allow us to benefit from the transformational potential of technology. And while some see nothing but threats and obstacles in digital identity framework, others like me see the endless opportunities. So, colleagues, I would ask your support to enter into the negotiations. Thank you.
Mrs. Romana Jerkovic, and I now give the floor to Mr. Roos for 2 minutes to speak against the committee decision.
President, on the 9th of February, ITRE adopted its position on the European digital identity. ITRE also adopted a mandate to enter into interinstitutional negotiations. This means the digital identity would go straight to the trilogue without a plenary vote. The European digital identity is controversial in many member states. People are worried about data protection and privacy rights. And I think this level of public attention merits a plenary vote. We may have different opinions about European digital identity, which is great. Democracy is all about differences in opinion. But if we take ourselves seriously as a democratic institution, we should at least hold a vote on contentious subjects like the digital identity. In all openness, in the full presence of the plenary. That way, democracy shines brightest. Therefore, I would like to ask all of you to vote against the mandate given by the ITRE committee so that we will have a plenary vote on the digital identity. Colleagues, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I now put the ITRE committee decision to the vote by roll call vote. The vote is open. The vote is closed. And it is adopted. The committee can begin interinstitutional negotiations immediately. Now we come to a report by Ms. Hannah Neumann on the EU guidelines on human rights defenders. We start by paragraph 9, original text in four parts by show of hands. First part, who is in favor? Who is against? Who abstains? Adopted. Second part, who is in favor? Who is against? Abstains? Adopted. Third part, who is in favor? Against? Abstentions? Adopted. Fourth part, in favor? Against? Abstentions? Adopted. Amendment number 12, who's in favor? Who's against? Abstentions? Ooh, I would say it's rejected, but let's check. So I open the vote. And I close the vote, sorry. And it is adopted, so I was right. Amendment 3. Now we come to Amendment 3 by roll call vote. The vote is open. Vote is closed. And it is rejected. Amendment 4 by show of hands. Who is in favor? Who is against? Abstentions? It is rejected. We come to paragraph 26, original text in 3 parts. First part by roll call vote. The vote is open. And the vote is closed. And it is adopted. Second part by show of hands. Who is in favor? Who is against? Who abstains? Adopted. Third part by roll call vote. The vote is open. The vote is closed. And it is adopted. Then we come to Amendment 5, also by roll call vote. The vote is open. The vote is closed. Oops. And it is rejected. Amendment 6, by show of hands. Who is in favor? Who is against? Abstentions, and it is rejected. So we have to go to paragraph 33, the original text in 2 parts, by show of hands. Who is in favor? Yes. Against? Yes. Abstentions? No. It's adopted. Second part, in favor? Against? Abstentions? Adopted. Then we come to Amendment 7, by show of hands. Who is in favor? Who is against? Abstentions? Rejected. Then that was very obvious. I won't check. Next, we go to a vote on paragraph 37. Sorry? The original text. Who is in favor of that one? Yes. Against? See? Abstentions? Adopted. Then paragraph 39, original text in 2 parts. First part by show of hands. Who is in favor? Who is against? Abstentions? Adopted. Second part, who is in favor? Yes. Against, sorry. And abstentions. And it is also adopted. And then we come to paragraph 41, original text in 2 parts, both by show of hands. Who is in favor of the first part? Against? Abstentions? Adopted. Second part, who is in favor? Against? Abstentions? Adopted. Then we move to Amendment 8. Who is in favor? Who is against? It's very clear. Who is abstentions? It is rejected. Then we have to vote on Amendment 13. Who is in favor? Who is against? Who abstains? I think it is rejected, but just to make sure and be fair, we will check that one. Okay, close the vote. And it is rejected. Okay, where are we? Okay, paragraph 44, original text by show of hands. Who is in favor? Against? Abstentions? It is adopted. Paragraph 45, original text. Who is in favor? Who is against? Who abstains? And it is adopted. Then we come to Amendment 9. In favor? Against? Abstentions? Rejected. Amendment 10. In favor? Against? Abstentions? Rejected. And therefore we have to vote on paragraph 6, the original text in 2 parts by show of hands. Who is in favor of the first part? Who is against? Who abstains? Adopted. Who is in favor of the second part? Against? Abstentions? Adopted. Then we come to Amendment 1. Who is in favor? Who is against? Who abstains? I want to check this one. Sorry, colleagues, it wasn't clear to me. I open and then I close, and it is rejected. Ooh, that was quite obvious, sorry. Amendment 11, who is in favor? By show of hands. Who is against? Who abstains? I check it. Okay, I open the vote. I close the vote. It is adopted. Now we come to Amendment 2 by roll call vote. The vote is open. The vote is closed. and it is rejected, and therefore we have to go to recital N on the original text in two parts. First part by show of hands, who is in favor? Yes, who is against? Yes, and who abstains? It is adopted. Second part, in favor? Against? Abstentions? I would say it is adopted, unless somebody wants to check. No. Then it is adopted. Good. The resolution as a whole by roll call vote. The vote is open. Whoops. And the vote is closed. And it is adopted. Thank you very much and have a safe trip home. That was quick.